What is up, guys? Welcome on back to TK's Garage. And if you saw the thumbnail, you kind of know what we're going to talk about today. But why is it that Stellantis is again behind the scenes talking about offloading a brand to, of all companies, Hyundai, when Frank Rhodes really wants to buy it, wants to buy Chrysler? It doesn't make sense to me. We're going to talk about why it may make sense for Hyundai building out their Genesis brand, but I just don't get it. I just don't get it. Do they really hate the Americans that much that they don't want them to own Mopar again? Maybe. What is up, guys? Welcome on back to TK's Garage. And yes, it's a question I have to ask. Why won't they seriously consider an offer from Frank B Rhodes to buy Chrysler? I say it because Rhodes originally said, look, I have a plan, I have this, I have that. And then he's like, nah, I'm not going to actually try to buy it myself. And then it was, I have billions of dollars of investment behind me to do it. I like all of this. I really do. Especially the billions of dollars in investment. Could he take over Chrysler? Yes. Would it take 2 to 3 years to get a car to market? Yeah. That's the thing that people don't get, is even if Chrysler sells to Frank B Rhodes, it would still take, even if he fast-tracked it, like had a just pouring money, burning cash to get it going, it's still going to take 2 years, right? But then, I talked about this earlier, that one of my sources, the executive sources that I have at Stellantis, was saying that another auto manufacturer was trying to buy a brand. And I was like, that's interesting. And then, we followed up. I hit another one of my sources up, and I was like, heard anything in your group, from your boss, talking to anybody else about somebody possibly buying a brand? And they said, there's been a lot of conversations, and this is before the chief operating officer, I guess, has been changed. So this could change. This was the old chief operating officer. There's a new chief operating officer. But the old chief operating officer has been having lots of discussions with people at Hyundai, and I guess with Tavares and other people on these calls. No visits like BYD, though. See, that's when you know something's really serious. Like with BYD, they had their executives at CTC. They were touring plants, all that crap. BYD was very serious about buying brands. Hyundai might just be testing the waters. And let me explain a little bit about why I think that might be. Right now, yes, there are some standalone Genesis dealerships. And if you didn't know it or not, there are some standalone Chrysler dealerships. Usually, it's not just a Chrysler dealership. If there's not Ram and Dodge, usually it's Chrysler and Jeep at a dealership. Not just Chrysler, but there are some just Chrysler dealerships. A lot of them have incorporated Jeep because all they have left to sell is a friggin' minivan. That said, it's not like Stellantis does want to cut down on some of their dealership network, and it's not like they can't move Jeeps to other dealerships, or have dealerships that might be Ram and Dodge add Jeep, and Chrysler, if Chrysler's gone, add Jeep to their portfolio or their signage, right? What I find interesting is, why Chrysler, though? Hyundai / Kia, which they're basically the same thing, already has the Carnival, right? They already have a minivan. I'm trying to figure out what would be the reason for buying them, and the only thing I can think of is maybe more manufacturing, but then again, they'd have to, I guess assume those contracts from Chrysler, right? With the UAW. And I was like, maybe it's facilities, or maybe it is just getting into that dealer network and buying dealerships. That would not shock me at all. But the biggest question for me, though, is if Stellantis keeps, they lie, right? Remember this, they lie. Remember when I broke the story about BYD being at their places and making an offer to buy their shit, to buy Chrysler and Dodge? Everybody said, nah, it's fake news, fake news. And then what does Tavares do when he goes to the Paris Auto Show? He admits it. He comes out and says, yeah, the Chinese tried to buy brands. Come on, bro. You said nobody was making offers. Stop lying. Just like you said, brands have 10 years. Now they have till 2026. Stop it. You literally can't believe anything that these SOBs say. So, what did I do? The petty person that I am, now that I have their public information officers or their public relations person's email, is fired off from me an email and said, hey, any truth to the rumor that Hyundai could be trying to buy a brand from Stellantis? And I have an email thing where it shows me if an email has been open and read. So it was read. I didn't get a response. But I'm willing to bet you this. I bet you somebody at Stellantis today is going, how the F is this guy getting this information? I mean, they have the leakiest corporation I've ever seen. Like, it is not even hard to get information out of Stellantis. But I digress. The biggest thing I want to know is, if you keep doing this stuff, backroom BS, and you're looking at we know you're selling the proving grounds because you're hurting for cash, and you're doing this other stuff, why won't, if Frank B Rhodes is telling you he's got billions of dollars and he wants to buy Chrysler, and you don't really, like, Chrysler weighs you, you're not making a ton of money off Chrysler, sell it. Why not? If you're thinking about giving it to, or selling it to Hyundai, why not sell it to Frank B Rhodes? I think they're scared of selling it back to an American company. That's what it is. I really think they don't want to look like fools. They're the most prideful, arrogant SOBs, which, to Tavares' credit, he has admitted that he's an arrogant idiot. But the thing that gets me the most is they don't want to sell it to Rhodes because they know if he's able to turn it around and it's success, it makes them look like the most incompetent, dumb retards in the automotive industry ever. So I think that's part of it. I think it's a spiteful thing as to why they won't even consider Frank B Rhodes' offer. But the fact that they're in conversations with Hyundai, it doesn't make sense to me. Like, the BYD stuff absolutely made sense to me. They want to get into the market and not pay tariffs. And it wouldn't surprise me if, Geely or somebody else made a hard push to get a brand here, or merge maybe a Chinese brand with Stellantis. I don't know if the Chinese government would allow that, but they're going to try to find a way before the election to get into the market, for sure. And I know you're going to say, well, BYD's already here, TK. They make buses. It's not the same thing. Not the same thing. Not the same thing at all. Just because they have a factory and they're making buses here does not mean they can start churning cars out of that factory. It doesn't work that way, okay? It just doesn't work that way. Whoopee!